Hi, welcome to Catholic Mom and Daughter. I'm Jennifer with my daughter Kate, and today we're looking at what is in our Fall Catholic Picture Book Basket. So here we are at the end of October, and with the feasts of All Saints and All Souls Days coming up, we thought it would be fun to round up some of our favorite Catholic picture books for this time of year. Now, of course, it's really hard to narrow it down to just a few, so we just picked out some of our fall saints and picture books that we like the best, and we thought we would just have fun showing them to you today.
So the first one is Father Phillip Tells a Ghost Story, which is a story of divine mercy.
This book is great because it does double duty for the month of October. It introduces the idea of praying for the holy souls in purgatory, but it also tells the story of Saint Faustina, whose feast day is in October.
Yeah, it kind of ties those things both in very nicely, praying for the holy souls, which is a work of mercy, and then also the whole story of divine mercy.
This one, though, it's a little bit of a spooky book because Father Phillip does talk about holy souls who have appeared to people asking for prayers. So you have to know your kid before you start reading this one out loud. It's a longer picture book, so I read it over several days, but it's one that you want to preview before you just hand it off to a kid and say, hey, here's a good book, go read it, because a sensitive kid might be a little spooked by some of the stories in here. Spooked.
Okay.
All right, okay, so that's Father Phillip.
All right, so the next one is the All Saints Day Party. And in this book, you have the kids who are deciding what saints they want to be for All Saints Day.
So you walk with them through their choices as they're reading books about the saints, and they're trying to decide who will they dress up as. So you meet all kinds of different saints in this book as they try to make their decisions.
And their choices in the end might surprise you.
Yes, a very interesting choice at the end. I think it's a very good message. And this is a fairly new picture book. It's only been out for a couple of years, and I believe I got it from Our Sunday Visitor, but it's from Peanut Butter and Grace Books. So the next one we have is called I Sing a Song of the Saints of God, which is based on the famous hymn, and I really like the pictures in this one. All the fun saints you go through. It's a short and sweet picture book. It's not going to take you very long to read it, but I do like the illustrations in this one a lot.
All right, then the next one is Saintly Rhymes for Modern Times, and this one's another fairly short book, and it has a picture of each saint, and then it has a poem to go with each saint, which is really cool.
Yeah,
that's a good concept.
And the artwork for each page sort of ties into the saint. So I think it's a really fun take on the saint, and this one again is fairly new, and this is the one I bought from Our Sunday Visitor just a couple of years ago. So it's also a really great pick. The saints tell their stories. This is a little bit longer again, but what I really like about it is that each saint has a picture page, and then the saint tells his or her story in the first person. So that's kind of neat. It's not just, a list of the facts about the saints. The saint's talking to you. It's a very conversational tone. So it's got some really nice illustrations in it also.
And then we have the Encyclopedia of Peg Saints.
So obviously we are big fans of Peg Saints at our house. We've painted more than one in our day. So if you haven't seen this book, oh my goodness, it's so much fun. I got it from Amazon, and it has just these sweet and simple peg dolls, and all these different bubbles on the page talk about, their symbol, quotes, things that they did, facts about them. So this is the type of book that you could really just spend hours looking through and reading all the different things about the saints. Maybe it will even inspire some of your children to paint some saints of their own for All Saints Day.
All right, and then for All Souls Day, we have the Spirit of Tio Fernando, which is about how All Souls Day is celebrated in Mexico.
That's right. In Mexico, it's called the Day of the Dead, where families get together and they remember their relatives who have passed away. They might put out pictures of their relatives or sing songs that the family liked. So it's got some really, really sweet illustrations in it. And it's also bilingual, which is kind of fun. We have several more of our favorite fall Catholic picture books that we wanted to show you today. And the first one is St. Jude, a Friend in Hard Times.
So this one talks about his life as an apostle and also about his special mission to heal the king of Edessa.
That's right. The king of Edessa had leprosy, and he sent a message to Jesus that said, "Hey, can you heal me?" And Jesus said, "Yes, but I'm not coming in person." And he sent St. Jude instead to do the healing. So the story involves the mandolin, which we talked about in another video, the face cloth that had an impression of Jesus's face on it, and that was what ultimately healed the king of Edessa. So that's a really cool story if you hadn't heard it. So this is a really good one with fun pictures. Here's poor King Abgar looking at the face cloth, and he was instantly healed of leprosy when he saw it. So St. Jude's feast day is October 28th, and he's always been one of my very favorite saints, so definitely don't want to leave him out.
So then we have a book for St. Francis. It's St. Francis and the Wolf. So this one has gorgeous illustrations. I think they were done in like colored pencil or something, but they're really, really beautiful. And his feast day was back on October 4th.
And we did a whole video about him, but I do like the unique illustrations in this book. And there are so many picture books about St. Francis, it's hard to just pick one. But this one also has the Canticle of the Sun printed on the inside covers, front and back. So that's an added bonus in my opinion.
There we go. Alright, so then next we have this book, which is on St. Peter Claver, and his feast day was September 9th.
He is a Jesuit priest who went to work in the New World in 1610. He went to Cartagena, Colombia. If you haven't heard his story, it's a really beautiful one.
Yeah, he went there and he was just totally horrified by the slaves that were coming in on the ships. And he spent the next 38 years of his life ministering to them and helping them. So it's just an amazing story.
This is another one that's bilingual in Spanish and in English, but it's such a great story. And in his honor, the Catholic Church has the Knights of Peter Claver.
Okay, then we have the Pied Piper of Peru, which is about St. Martin de Porres, and his feast is November 3rd.
Yeah, we're just kind of jumping around through our favorites for the fall, so we're not going in chronological order. But Martin de Porres was a Dominican brother who lived in South America in the 1550-ish range.
Yeah, and this book in particular tells the story of how he saved the priory from an infestation of mice. He had a way with animals, so it's a really sweet story. See all the little mice.
Yeah, this one has really fun illustrations. The mice were getting in the priory, and it was either, the mice had to go, so Martin didn't want to kill them. The cat was after them, so he led them out of the priory. It's such a fun story, a true story. So definitely a great saint to get to know. Here he is, Martin de Porres. Pray for us.
And then for November 17th, we have Roses in the Snow, which is about St. Elizabeth of Hungary. And this is the story of when she got in trouble with her mother-in-law for feeding the poor.
This one also has beautiful illustrations, the roses and the snow in the winter. So it's a beautiful story of a saint who was very generous with the poor. If you have an Elizabeth at home, or maybe a daughter who has taken Elizabeth for her confirmation name, this is a great gift. Now we have a book about a man who is not yet a saint, but probably will become one, and that is the Franciscan priest, Father Mychal Judge, who gave his life helping at Ground Zero on 9/11.
So this book is a really great way to kind of talk about the tragedy of 9/11 with your kids. It doesn't really go into like all the gruesome details, but instead it focuses on how he said yes and how he was so willing to help.
Right. He was living in New York City at the time. He worked a lot with the NYPD and the firefighters. So, of course, when the attack started, he raced to the scene, to ground zero, because he said, you can't keep me away from helping those at this desperate hour. So he was there, he did a lot of good, and he ultimately laid down his life that day in the service of others. So it's a moving story, and definitely one that is great to share with your kids in September.
And then for the Feast of Our Lady of Fatima on October 13th, we have Jacinta's story, which is a longer picture book, so it's probably best to split this up over several days.
Yeah, if you've seen the recent Fatima movie that came out, you know from the movie what a driving force Jacinta was. I think she stole the show in that movie. So it's neat that she has her own book. This is actually written long before the movie ever came out, but it's written in the first person, so you get to know Jacinta pretty well. And it has just really amazing illustrations, like all good picture books should. So it's just beautifully done and a different perspective on the events of Fatima.
Alright, so now we have St. Jerome and the Lion, which is a book about how St. Jerome saved this lion and he had himself a friend for life. St. Jerome's feast day is on September 30th.
Right, after he pulled the thorn out of the lion's paw, the lion stayed with him while he translated the Bible into Latin. But what I love most about St. Jerome is that he was known to have a very bad temper. He was like, grumpy old man, and people would say, Jerome, you've got to tone yourself down. You've got to get control of your temper. That was always something he struggled with. So if you have a problem with patience, or you have a kid who's impatient or has a temper problem, St. Jerome is for you. Definitely a great saint to ask for help. And lastly, we would not be doing a good job if we didn't have at least one picture book about Mother Teresa. And I like this one that is written by Demi.
Alright, so this book, as you can probably see, hopefully see, has really gorgeous illustrations. So that's really like a nice touch for the younger kids because they can see kind of what her life looked like.
Yeah, they can even just look at this book and get the idea from the pictures of how she cared for people. But what I really like is this book has some of her writings in it and a lot of quotations in it, so it really can grow with your kids. It's great for older kids or even adults. It's one that really any age can enjoy. Very inspirational. Alright, so now we're back to Father Phillip, and again, it was really hard to pare down our picture book selection just to a few, so we'll be doing more posts about different seasonal picture books because we love to talk about books, and we'll do another video too. I want to talk about where we get some of these books. Some of them are out of print, they're a little bit harder to track down. So we have some tips and tricks for you in a coming video about easy ways to get your hands on some of these beautiful books. That's all for now. Thank you for tuning in as always, and we'll see you next time on Catholic Mom and Daughter.
Bye.
Happy All Saints and All Souls. Bye.
Bye.